Hi, I'm Markus Munger, and I'd like to speak to you a little bit about who I am and one of the reasons, or many reasons maybe, why I chose this career path over the last 28 years. I originally was born in Swartz Creek, Michigan, just outside of Flint. Spent all my high school days at Swartz Creek High School, and then continued on to college at the University of Michigan Flint, where I spent 4 years, achieved my degree as a physical therapist. And prior to going into college, I was really struggling with where in the medical field I wanted to go. I always wanted to be in the medical field, but was just unsure of my direction or my path. So my freshman year in college, I decided to do some volunteer work. And I spent my time for the next year and a half volunteering at Hurley Medical Center, which is one of the main trauma centers there in Flint, Michigan. And during that time, I was able to spend many hours with physical therapists on staff. And I decided one day to go up onto the floor, which wasn't very typical, but this particular day, a lady asked me to go, and I said, great, I'll go with you. And I still was not sure of physical therapy. This was the thing for me. And when we went up to treat a 12-year-old girl. And we walked into the room, and this young lady, she had tubes out of her arms. She was on a breathing machine to just keep her going. And she was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré, which is basically a virus that attacks our nervous system for the feet on up. So the further it goes up, and hers was all the way up to just her eyelids moving. That's all she could move. And I was just taken back. I could almost remember fainting because I was so taken back by the condition this little 12-year-old girl was in. And so during the next 8 months, I was able to see her progress from that to walking, to talking, to moving. And through the help of the physical therapy, through the help of speech therapy, through the help of occupational therapy, I was able to see this girl transform back into being a funny girl that was moving around again. And I just felt so strong about wanting to help people do that. And I think at that point I was very set on becoming a physical therapist. And the next 2 years in college, I worked hard on my grades so that I could actually enter into physical therapy, which required an application and interview process. And not being the smartest kid on the block, I really felt like I had to work a little bit harder to get there. And so over the next 2 years, I was able to get into the course and spend the next 2 years through physical therapy. At that time, it was only a bachelor's. It's changed over the years. It's a doctorate now. But I felt like at that time I came out of school and thought, hey, I know all kinds of good things to help people out with. Well, once you get into the real world and you start working, you realize, well, I don't know a lot. You have to continuously learn. And but my passion was strong. I found my first job up in Munising, Michigan. So I was this fresh, new college guy, just graduated, fairly poor, moved up to Munising, Michigan, and we spent the next 6 months, my wife and I, up there practicing at a small hospital and a nursing home and just kind of starting my craft as a physical therapist. And it wasn't until about 6 months later we came back down and spent our time in Lansing, and I was really mentored by another physical therapist at that time about continuous learning and trying to find ways to make yourself better. And that has always stuck with me. So from Lansing, I moved on, I traveled all over. I was down southern Michigan for a while, came up to Flint again, and then I ended up here in Port Huron. And I started here in 1993. And in 94, we had our second son, and I've continued my process here in Port Huron since then. And it wasn't until 2008 that I decided to open my own physical therapy practice. But the idea of opening my practice, that was with me since I was back in Flint, and my first son was only a year old at the time, but it was never like the time to do it. I never felt like I was ready to do that. And in 2008, I finally felt like this is the time to do it. And it worked out quite well for me. It was in May when I opened up this place, May 12th, which will be our 10-year anniversary coming up here in 2018. And unfortunately, I did it then, as opposed to September when everything crashed. But it really gave me the opportunity to grow, not just as a physical therapist, but also as a businessman, and trying to find mentors in my life to really help me out on the business side, as well as finding great staff that would treat similar to me and have that same passion about learning, same passion about taking care of people that walk through our door. And I think, I've been blessed. I mean, God's blessed me with so many great people in our facility that has continued this whole process for the last 10 years. So as I move forward here from 2018, our goal is just to continue to become more excellent on all that we do. Continuous learning with the new research that's coming out and finding staff members. The doctorates of physical therapy that are coming out now are awesome, and they are continuing to come in our office and continue to bless our facility with their skills. So it's kind of a little bit about myself, a little bit about the business. I look forward to continuously treat people. It's a passion. I absolutely love doing that. I was thinking 28 years into this, I can't imagine that I still have the same burning desire I had on day one. On that same day I saw that young lady there in bed, I still have that same desire to make changes in people's lives. And I think that's just makes this field super exciting to just see those changes over time. So hope you enjoyed the little video, a little introduction of myself, and I look forward to seeing many of you later.